Hello and welcome. Let me put this away. Yes, how are you? So, we're talking about not mistaking the basics as easy. What are we talking about here? Well, when somebody says, oh, you need to do the basics, or somebody tells you about the basics, we all think, oh, okay, yeah, I know it. You know it intellectually, but can you do it? And this is really important when it comes to physical ability, especially in humans. I may know intellectually a lot of things about the movement of the body, but can I actually do it? Not really. So, what is important about this is when we're looking at basics and we're looking at basics for even training our dogs, it's not something that we must go in our mind and go, yeah, my dog knows that. I'll skip this and then carry on to the next one and go one step further. And this is particularly true when it comes to fitness, conditioning, and strength training. So, how can I talk about this? Well, my name is Angela Ahern. I'm the founder of the Biokinetic Canine, and this is what we do. We specialize in canine strengthening exercises, especially for our canine athletes. So let me get on to what I'm about and what we are talking about. Why basics and foundation work? Why do we need to do it? The easiest way that I can put this is if you look at any person that's gone to the army and they are a soldier or they doing all those things out there, those big missions that they do, when they first entered, they all started with basic training. And I don't know anyone that I've known that's gone to the army that has ever said, oh, basics was easy. It was really hard work. Even though they just ran around, they did the general push-ups, they did a lot of drills. It wasn't more difficult type of exercises than basic exercises, but they were really pushed to their limits. So basics is never easy, even though some of the things that you may be doing sounds like it may have been easy. So when it comes to dogs, the same thing applies. Dogs, their bodies, they're designed to run, jump, walk, sit, etc. All of those things, they do that in order to survive. And it's the foundations of what their body needs to do to survive. But in nowadays, they don't need to go and survive out there. They're living in our homes. They've got all their needs and wants provided for them. But for the dogs that are in sport or that need a little bit of extra fitness, they do need to enhance those basic movements. Why do we say this? If you think that you're doing sport already and my dog doesn't need to do all of these things, well, the demands in sports has changed so much over the last few years. The demands are really intense and people are becoming really, really good. But our dogs, nothing's changed much with their build and what they can do. But we need to make those bodies stronger in order to handle these new elevated demands in sports. So the sports require more power, more skill in the body, more speed out of our dog, more control in how they move their bodies, not just your control in obedience, but the dog's ability to actually control that body under speed and control that body under power. And for that, we need better bodies within our dogs. The result is that our dogs are suffering a lot of imbalances within their sport. Doesn't matter what sport they're doing, because there's a lot of repetition. So there's a lot of repetitive strain type injuries, wear and tear, and many dogs are going towards early retirement. And this is only because of things that could easily have been avoided, easily. So when it comes to the basics, what are we talking about? We're talking about foundation strength training. But what is it? What is your foundation strength training? What we're talking about here is we're wanting to make our dog's body stronger, but we need to start right at the bottom. We need to start with what is required before we can actually then move into those big, high strength power maneuvers. When we're talking about foundation strength training, we're talking about developing the skills that perform those basic exercises with correct technique, with correct form. In other words, we need to be able to target specific muscles, because like I said earlier, our sports are creating muscle imbalances. And if we can target those imbalances and correct those imbalances in their body so that their bodies are more balanced, so they've got equal strength going forward, equal power throughout their body, not more power on the left rear than the right rear, but equal power going forward, then we can do much more for that with our dogs and for our dogs. We can then really improve their performance. And not all dogs' bodies are created equally. They may have different weak areas within their body, and if we can target those areas and strengthen them up, then they can have full body strength going forward and doing the sport that they love. When we're doing foundation strength exercises, the exercises emphasize concentric movements, which is concentric movements is if we are going down in the squat, a squat, and we have to push up, that pushing up really hard, that is a concentric movement where the muscles are contracting, the quads are contracting, and we're powering up. We're also looking at eccentric movements, which is much more difficult because we are stretching the muscle while that muscle is contracting, and it's mostly when gravity is pushing our body down. So if you take the squat, it's really more difficult to control that descent slowly with strength while the hamstrings are elongated, or the quads are elongating, the hamstrings are contracting. To control that descent, it's much more difficult. So your eccentric movements are really more difficult to do. But we work on those, helping those muscles elongate against gravity while they become strong. And then we're also looking at those isometric exercises. Those are so important for those stabilizer muscles that are really close to the bone, that need to hold those front legs and shoulders stable in a turn as the dogs are moving, while the big muscles are working around those stabilizer muscles. So all of these things are really important, and they are all addressed when it comes to foundation work. Oh, Annika, hi, you're here. Teresa, hi. It's so nice of you to join us. So when we're looking at our foundation work, we're looking at all of those type of movements. We want the dogs to be able to hold the position, to keep those muscles engaged, to hold the position. We need these things, especially if you look at IGP, the stand on the move. We want the dog to run flat out and then stand and hold that stand, not move that one leg. Can those muscles that are stabilizing the joints in the core along the spine hold that body from full forward movement to dead stationary? It looks so much more impressive and so much more powerful when a dog can do that. And where the dog's muscles are strong enough to handle that forward speed and hold their whole body back, that's exactly what I want to see in a dog. Bob, hi, it's so nice that you are here. Awesome. So when we're looking at our foundation strength program, we want to strengthen all of those muscles around those type of movements, that powering of the muscle when the muscle contracts, when the muscle extends, and we still want that power in that stretch and to hold a position. All of these things are looked at and concentrated on in foundation work, so that those muscles know how to engage. And all of these things add to the strength and the power of the dog, but also the mobility of the dog. If a muscle can stretch and hold that stretch in a strength move, mobility is easier because those muscles are still becoming elongated, and it helps with flexibility of the dog's movements. So when we're looking at our foundation strength program, and it says foundation, but I'm a top level competitor, or my dog's really not at those levels yet and it's not really into sport, we just want to do some club training for fun, is this program for you? Well, yes. It's a foundation program. It's the basics, but it's not easy for any person or any dog doing any foundation work. Doesn't matter where you are in your sport. Your top athletes, human athletes, always go back to their foundations always. And if you ask any top canine trainers, they will always tell you, make sure your foundations are solid, because that solid foundation, just as the word states, foundation holds the big house. And the stronger that foundation is, the more you can add to that house, the more you can add to that dog's body, and you will have longevity of a sporting career. That's all we want for our dogs, so that they can go out there and train more for longer and compete longer. We're putting in so much effort into the training of the sport of our dogs. We want those bodies to hold up under the demands of that sport. So when we're looking for canine athlete performance, our foundation strength program provides that muscle efficiency for the sport. The muscles know how to work efficiently and more powerfully. No one muscle is taking over because another muscle is lagging behind because of imbalances in the body. We want all the muscles to work equally powerful throughout the body in the sport. Then we also want sport longevity, like I said earlier. We don't want dogs to retire early because of something we could have done earlier with them. It's so unnecessary. It happened to me. Don't let it happen to you. We don't want our dogs to, if they get injured, to have this long recovery of injuries, minor injuries. If your dog has got foundational strength, those injuries recover so much better. Plus, you know what to do to aid your dog in that recovery. That is so important. So you and your dog are able to approach your sporting activities with much less pain and much less time out with regards to recoveries. And this is really important, because in the end, what do we want? What is the goal? Our goal for any dog in any sport is to maximize that dog's potential. That's what we want. If you take, our dogs have to do the sport, but they also have to overcome us and our sometimes inadequate handling on the field, where we want to reward it. Oh, no, and then the dog's out and he's got to come back into heel and he's got to use his body. So if our handling, even on a field, say for example in agility, if we are a trainee, a novice handler, but our dogs are really fast and we don't know about how to direct our dogs, the dog's body is going everywhere except in that most efficient path, because you are still learning. And the more you learn, the more that dog's body has to go through all of that work unnecessarily. So our goal is to maximize potential in our dogs. And it's easy to understand the value of the basics if we look at it that way. If we want to maximize our potential, we need to start right at the beginning and build on those things. We need to not just think of the word as basics and then push it aside. And that word is just so, well, it's just the basics. The basics are the foundation. It's the most important first laying stone of anything that you're going to build. And it's the best training tools for sporting goals. Foundations are always your best training tools, whether it be in the sport, whether it be in strength, whether it be in anything that you are attempting to do. Your best and first tools are to be found in your foundation toolbox. So when you start working on your strength, you're going to start working on just the skills. Can my dog do this easy work? And when we look at the work, it's not that easy, because there's lots of things you have to look at, and there's lots of things that you have to control in the dog's movement. And then once he can do it, once he's learned the skill, and that skill is messy to start, I promise you, it's like, what the hell? Come on, can't you just go and do a sit properly? No, they can't. They only know about the sit in the sport. They don't know about the sit for strength. So when you start your strength skills, that's where the fun starts. That's where that fun starts, and then they start to get it. And you see them get it, and their eyes light up. That's the most rewarding thing ever. And then you see the muscles start to grow and the muscles start to develop, and you go, wow. And your dog finally gets it. It's like same as dancing, step, ball, change. You do it slowly, and then eventually you move more fluidly, and it looks so easy once you know what you're doing. But the easiness only looks easy when you know what you're doing. It's always messy to start. I mean, even in our program, we've got a lesson where we are showing you 8 injury prevention strategies that you can do quickly and easily with your dog. That's just one lesson. 8 strategies that you can do. Riani, hi, it's so nice that you're here. Awesome. So if you're asking me now, well, what are the requirements if you want to do a strength program with your dog? What are the requirements? Well, the nice thing about any foundational program, whether it be for a human, for a dog, you need minimal equipment. You don't need to go and buy these big, expensive things that you see everywhere. It's minimal equipment. It's not expensive to start. There's nothing that's stopping you from starting, really. And I would really recommend our program because we look at our sport dogs. I specialize in IGP, so it's got an IGP twist to it, but we look at a lot of sports when we are doing each exercise and where this exercise fits in all the different sports. And once you understand why you're doing a foundational exercise that you think, oh, this is easy, and you understand why we're doing it in this way and what muscles we want to work and where it's going to benefit your dog in the sport that you're doing, then when you understand that, then you think, oh, wow, I really need to do this. And we want you to really need to do this because it's important foundation work. If you get your foundations right, your results are going to explode. So foundations are always safe. They must be safe and they must be sustainable. It must be something that the dog can do. So what you need a program, then you need minimal equipment. And many people don't even have all this big fancy equipment. A lot of my equipment we made. It's easy to make. Then you need, of course, your dog and their favorite treats. And then you need you. You have to be present and you have to bring along your best sense of humor. Let me tell you that, because to start off with, the dogs are messy. Most of the dogs are high drive. They're jumping around. Every time you've trained them to be in drive and they're carrying on. And you need to be able to calm yourself down and laugh through it and enjoy your dog's excitement, but then get them to concentrate. And we show you how. So bring yourself your best sense of humor, because that you and your humor are going to have the most impact on the success of your training skills through any foundational course. Any foundation, but like I said, it must be safe. And to get sustainable results, you need strength, flexibility, and stability within your dog and the exercises. And we concentrate on all of those. So when it comes to our Biokinetic Canine Foundation Strength Program, we do have it on as a Black Friday special at the moment. After Monday, the price will go up. So I really encourage you to, if you're interested, go through, have a look at it, and take a look there. Let me just show you a little bit about what this program is about. Give me 1 second so I can see what we got here. Okay. So let me put this down here. This will be our program page. You'll go into that strength program and you'll see there's loads of lessons and exercises, etc. Each lesson, or before you go into each lesson, you will be invited to join a private community. It's not on Facebook, because some people are not on Facebook. But here we really encourage you to engage, post videos, because as I've mentioned before, there's knowledge and then there's knowledge that is applied. So you're going to work the dog. But what is even better than that is knowledge applied with feedback. And if you post your videos about what you're doing with your dog, doesn't matter for me, it doesn't matter how it is, because you always learn. I give you feedback and you've got direct access to me in this community. That's there just for you and your dog, because we really want you to succeed. So as we're going through, you'll see there's loads of lessons. Each lesson comes with a video. The video is time stamped, and we tell you all what's happening in the video as we go through. Then there's a table of contents for each exercise, and each exercise has got photos that are detailed with sketches. They've got videos about how your dog's got to work. And what I've done with my videos, I've got my dogs in here, and you will see I've got videos in here of how I started. So you'll see not all of the videos are great, because we all start somewhere, and then as they progress. So this is really important. You mustn't be shy about, oh, my dog can't do it. Not many dogs can get it right the first time. They are extremely, I don't know any dog first time starting this can get it right. I know about maybe one or two, but then they've been working a little bit before I saw them, and then we still improved, and the dogs are doing amazingly well now. So you'll get your videos, you get worksheets, and then also all you have to do is you just need to go to our normal web page, click on the link here, or go directly to our strength page. You can read through our program, what it is all about. I talk about it, what you are all going to get, how it works, what most people do. Don't be most people. Take one program, stick to it, and work through it. Our program is, it's really extensive. It's got a lot of information, and let me just put this here again. It's got a lot of information, and you have access to it for a year, for a full year, because in the program, we start with the really very basics, and then we build up and we show you how to progress, how to overload those muscles. So you work on just getting the skills first of the various exercises, and the exercises each build up onto one another. So there's a big section on just foundational exercises, and then there's another section, once your dog understands those, how you can then build on them and get them stronger. But don't start the getting stronger exercises until your dog is fluent in those foundation exercises, and you will see the differences in your dog. With all of the exercises, they are progressions. We take you through how to overload those muscles, why we use stable equipment, how you can put your programs together yourself. You can ask me to help you. I'm there to help if you're stuck on designing a program for your dog. We go through this. You show me how your dog is doing, how your dog is exercising. When you think, should you progress? If you're not too sure, ask me. You've got this year. So the more you interact, the better you will be with your dog. That's really, really important. So your dog can start, doesn't matter what their fitness level is right now, you can have access to this program. It's for you. It is a strength-focused program. We focus on making your dog stronger. There are single set exercises that we put together into a family of exercises from easy to difficult. There's very little equipment that you will need. So equipment-wise, it's really inexpensive. Like I said, I've made all my own. And you progress at your own pace. You've got a year. Because, life happens in between training, and life happens in between conditioning. I have been there, but we show you what to do and how to deal with it. So I will put the link in for the strength program in the chat box. Well, let me just see if I can put it in here now. Let's see. I'm not too sure if it'll go through to everyone, but if it's not, I'll put it in manually afterwards. Go and have a look at the link. Let me know if you have any questions. You're most welcome to send me an email or a message. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. My email, if you are wanting to email me directly, just send me an email at fit@thebiokineticcanine. I can answer anything. And I'm here to help you enjoy your dog. We start at the beginning because that's the best place to start. That's the best place to make your dog really strong once you get going. And it'll take you from ground level right up to any elite athlete. Even if you're looking for nationals or worlds, we work with you too. All right, so if there's any questions, you're most welcome. Annika, hi. Oh, Annika, you're doing one of our workshops. Okay, you're doing the body checks for injury and you love it. That's awesome. So our workshops are all about the information that you need and why you need to work your dog and things that you can get with regard to picking up injuries with your dog. We got some special bonuses in each of the workshops, but they all tie into the strength program. So because of my canine athletes workshop that I did, a lot of people ask me, yes, but how do we do some of those exercises? So I spent almost a year putting this together, and all the exercises are in there. It's a big program. There's a lot of information. I think you will love the information because I really loved putting it together. All right, so take a look at it. If you have any questions, give me a shout. It is on special at the moment. Up until Monday, we extended our Black Friday, so it was like since last week until Monday, just so that we can get as many people on at a good price because I want you to succeed with your dog. We have a full payment or a two-part payment plan. If you are unable to make one full payment, we want to help you succeed. All right, so have a very awesome training week and weekend. Look after your dogs, give them a big hug, and thank you for everything. You guys have made my life really fulfilling, and I enjoy it so much. Cheers now. Let me put up my details. Put that there. Which one must I hide? Let me say cheers and goodbye, and I will see you next time.